Problem solving is an art form and an essential leadership competency. We're not just talking about big problems, but the small ones. The big ones often start small. The best leaders start by asking what the underlying problem or problems might be, the root cause or causes. They can also accept that they might factor into the problem. Learn how to check yourself to clear the way for solving problems effectively and efficiently.
Hi, I'm Ginny Clarke, a conscious leadership expert who spent 2 decades in executive recruiting and talent management. Having worked with giants like Google, Spencer Stuart, I discovered that the secret to transformative leadership lies in the 5 dimensions of conscious leadership. And I'm here to help you unlock your full potential. Join me on this channel as we embark on an honest and vulnerable journey together and become the kind of leader that genuinely inspires organizational transformation.
I have a few ways you can get involved in this conscious community. First, I've created a free career map to help you uncover your next career move. Second, I've created exclusive content for you within a community of like-minded leaders. And lastly, I send out a free newsletter every week. To learn more, check out the description of this video. I'm going to tell you a story. I had a coaching session with Christoph as part of my online 5th Dimensional Leadership course. He was concerned that the role he had taken with his current company over a year ago was not affording him the exposure and visibility to become a subject matter expert in medical technology. He had a clear path in mind for the role and how he could position himself as this expert for his own company and for his own personal benefit. Upon assuming the role, he found far more challenges with the team than he inherited, which required time that he had hoped to dedicate to his other professional pursuits. He was feeling overwhelmed and disappointed that this other plan had effectively been derailed. Now, I looked at the situation a little differently. I think the problem was twofold. First, that he had locked himself into a singular path to achieve this goal. He wasn't able to reassess and pivot to allow for the unanticipated challenges of building his professional brand externally, while effectively turning around the team he inherited at this now not-so-new company. And when the stars didn't align, he questions if he should even stay in the role at all. Secondly, Christoph showed signs of poor time management. He complained of never having enough time to work because of all of these unanticipated people issues, or at home because work demands cut into his personal time. So here are 5 solutions Christoph might have considered, presuming he could acknowledge the possibility of one or both of the 2 root causes to the problems that I just mentioned. First, reframe. How are you characterizing the situation? Is it really a problem? How might you reframe it to allow yourself to see it in a less daunting way, even impersonalize it? In the case of Christoph, he was looking at this whole situation as a derailment from what he had hoped to do. That casts a dark cloud on his daily activities and longer-term prospects for his career. Instead, he could have seen it as an unforeseen challenge that he could develop a strategy for and begin to implement in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Second, operationalize. Learn to take what you might have conceived of in a vacuum and make it operational, but only after you've assessed the variables and the unknowns, the people, the skill level, the availability of other resources, external undermining forces, those kinds of things. Christoph thought that he had sized up the situation during the recruitment process and knew exactly what he was walking into. Realistically, it's nearly impossible to know how things really are, in spite of the best intentions of even your prospective colleagues. Number 3, choose. Be deliberate about your choices. Some choices or decisions will be hasty with suboptimal information. Other decisions will be more calculated, but deciding not to decide is rarely the right choice. Christoph was showing signs of being a people pleaser as a new person, and he didn't seem to give critical feedback to some of the underperformers, nor was he imposing consequences on people who did not come to the office at least 2 days a week per company policy. Such leniency undermines a level of authority that leaders need to establish, especially new leaders. Not everyone will like you, but you're doing what was agreed upon at levels above you and should be honored. Your team might not like it, but they were notified of the policy, and they have to respect that you are imposing the policy fairly and consistently. Of others, where your peers are not honoring it, say something, as this leniency is undermining your and their authority and credibility. Number 4, Prioritize. This is in and of itself an art form. You should be prioritizing multiple times a day, even if in your own mind. Things are constantly changing and you need to always be reassessing your next move. It's a muscle to build. You can't get too locked into the list you created this morning or last week, much less the one you locked into 9 months ago, Christoph. Come back to that list tomorrow and reset based on prevailing conditions. Doesn't mean that you're always indecisive. It just means that you're demonstrating adaptability, another essential leadership competency. Number 5, delegate. Stop thinking you need to be the one shouldering the burden. If you need additional resources, lay out what needs to be done, quantify the resources required, whether it's money, temporary or permanent staff, system, software, that sort of thing. Ask for it. To the extent some are not available, propose a modification of the projected deliverables. Here's the thing. Everything is not a problem. I'll go so far as to say, start by assuming that it isn't. Just because things don't go the way you intended doesn't mean your whole plan is derailed. Start by doing a root cause analysis. Don't just react to what's in front of you and end up putting a Band-Aid on something that is sure to raise its ugly head again. And make sure you aren't part of the problem. I know firsthand how taking that first step can be the catalyst for a life-changing transformation. I remember the moment I decided to harness my own strengths, and it made all the difference in my career. That's why I've created a career mapping tool just for you to help you uncover your unique competencies and leverage them to design your own career map. Take the first step towards your next level by clicking the link in the video description. And let's start this incredible journey together.